Hey, what's up guys? Want to do a video showing you a neat little trick. This is something I've known for probably a decade or more, but it's not something that comes up often, and it's something that's rarely used, but when it is used and you do this little trick, it's pretty cool. So I want to pass it along to you. Now occasionally people will send me a message and whatever question they have will pertain to this specific trick, and I'll explain it to them in message, and they'll kind of be like, what do you mean? And so I'm doing this video really for those people over the last probably 2 years have been randomly asking me questions like, hey, I got this knife and I can't open it. That's what this trick is, just to show you how to open basically a seized or rusted knife. I have three slip joints here just to give you an example. The first one is a case hobo in redwood, and then I have a bird wings, which has 2 blades. And finally, I have the CRKT Texas toothpick. Now, there's a very specific reason why I picked these 3 knives. They're the closest to me, and that's pretty much it. If I dig hard enough, I'm sure I'll find an older knife that's actually rusted to better illustrate this on a rusted knife. But, I don't know, maybe I'm lazy. I just wanted to do this video real quick, and these are the closest slip joints to me. So if you're ever wondering, what 3 slip joints are the closest to Jeff at all times? There you go. Those 3, they were there, so I grabbed them. So anyway, this is very simple to do. Now again, the problem you may have, I'll move these for a second, is you have this knife. Now, very common. I got a knife from my grandfather. I got a knife from my father, my uncle, my neighbor. I found a knife in the dirt somewhere. I was walking in the woods. Guess what? Found a knife. Found a knife in the tackle box. Whatever the situation is, it's a knife, it's a slip joint, it's old, very old, never been used, or maybe it was used a long time ago, but it hasn't been used in a long time. The problem you have is that it's completely rusted. It's been exposed to the elements, or maybe just not taken care of, and it's closed. It's hard to get open. So you take your little thumbnail and you try to open it, and you go, ah, and you can't get it. And then you break your fingernail off, and that's really annoying and painful. Then you get really upset, and eventually you get a pair of pliers and you pull it out. And guess what? The pliers will work just fine. But this little trick is faster, easier, and will not scratch your blade. So I want to show it to you. All you need to do this is a piece of paper. Alright? So rip yourself off a little piece of paper. Doesn't have to be that big. What you want to do is you want to fold it 2 times. Alright? And you see you want the straight edge here. Here's our corner. Fold it so that you have the straight edge on one side. Okay. Actually, it doesn't even matter if you do that because our fold's going to become our straight edge. So disregard what I just said. Fold the piece of paper once one way, then fold it again another way. But the important thing here is to make sure that when you fold it, you get a nice 90 degrees on your edge. And use your thumbnail against a table or something to get a really good strong crease. Okay, because what we want to create is this. We want to create a nice sharp corner. But not only do we want it nice and sharp and straight, we want it thicker. That's why we're folding it. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to slip that little corner underneath the tip of our blade. So let's just assume this was neglected and or found somewhere at some point and it's rusted shut. Crap. I cannot open this thing. We've all been there. If you've been to the knives long enough, you've found an old knife or bought an old knife at a flea market or whatever, and it's just hard to open. So all you gotta do is slip your little corner underneath the blade, just like so. Pinch real low for support and pull up. Alright, now here's something that could happen. Because this knife is still extremely sharp, it cut the paper. So let's assume your old rusty knife for some reason is still extremely sharp. All you gotta do is fold it again. So it's stronger, harder to cut through. The problem with the more you fold it, the fatter it's gonna get. It's gonna be hard to fit into the channel. But trust me, if you have an old rusted knife, it's probably not sharp like this one. But anyway, slip it under our blade, pinch low, and lift. That's all you gotta do. And you can lift this up to a certain point where you can actually grab it with your fingers then. But really simple, very straightforward, cool little trick. Learned a while ago. And you can slip it in there. The farther you slip it in, obviously the more support you're gonna have, the easier it's gonna be to pull up. Alright, but generally speaking, you're not gonna be able to slip it all the way in. It's gonna be all rusted and gunked up in there. So just bring that tip in. If it cuts it or something, like I said, just fold it again as long as it's skinny enough to fit in the channel, and you'll be good to go. So you can do this with any knife, doesn't matter which one you have. Here's another example of this. Different shape, different everything, but slip it behind the blade and pull up. There you go. And same with this one here. Okay, so there's a little channel, slip it under, and lift. So trust me, this little trick will help you, and if you're into knives, like I said, long enough, you will find an old knife, maybe at a garage sale, or maybe, like I said, an old tackle box or something. You come across and you say, oh, it's a pretty cool old knife, and most likely it was not taken care of, because believe it or not, most people, not just some, but most people in the world just don't care about knives. I know, it's like heartbreaking, but yes, us knife people are few and far. We really are. In the grand scheme of things on planet Earth, not everyone's into knives, and that's okay. Most people neglect them, they dull them up, they don't know how to sharpen them, they don't know how to use them, they abuse them, they break them, they bend them, they throw them away. And they also leave them in tackle boxes for you to find. And when you do find it, and it's all rusted shut, now you know an easy way to open it without hurting yourself and without scratching it. Then again, if you've seen some of these old knives that are rusted shut, scratches are the least of your problems, really. But a neat little trick nonetheless. If you happen to have a knife that you have a hard time getting open, for whatever reason, and I'm saying specifically slip joints because you're not going to have opening holes, you're not going to have thumb studs and so forth. And generally speaking, older knives are not tactical knives. They are slip joints because that's what we all had back in the day. Not me personally, I'm not old enough to be back in the day. But back in my day, there certainly weren't as many cool tactical knives as there are today. But anyway, that's all. Neat little trick. Let me know in the comments if you knew about this, or perhaps you watched this video and ran to that drawer which you know has a knife you can't open and tried this and it works successfully for you. That would be an awesome story to hear. So share your opinions and comments in the comments below. That's what they're for. And I thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Take care.